I'm attorney Andrew Thompson. Today we're talking about online legal forms versus law firms or attorneys. You're probably all familiar with LegalZoom. It's become a very popular tool for designing wills, trust, for setting up LLCs and corporations, for real estate contracts, and a variety of other things. Online legal forms have a great benefit in terms of cost for most people. It's always been true that you've been free to use a form instead of an attorney if you preferred to, but just with the advent of word processing and the internet, it's become a lot easier in recent years to do that. But the advantage of the cost and simplicity in not involving an attorney can be far outweighed by the cost of exposure to liability for the mistakes that can be made. One of the worst costs, one of the worst pieces of exposure that comes into play are when people who pose as or act as alternatives to attorneys actually draft the forms for clients or people that they work for, the beneficiaries who are using those forms. So let's say, for example, a payroll company has a small business client and they want to hire a new employee under different terms than they've hired any other employee. The payroll company might ask an attorney to help with it, and then when they get an idea of the cost, they might change their mind and say, well, they can get that form for $10 online. For $10, they go and pull down a form for an employment contract online, and they fill in the terms that they think are appropriate. 6 months, a year, maybe 2 years later, the company is sued dramatically and finds out that the form was not only inadequate, but probably set themselves up for some severe liabilities they never would have had to incur had they gone to an attorney and spent a few $100s, maybe $1,000, to draft the contract properly. Now they're facing a lawsuit that may expose them to tens of thousands or perhaps even hundreds of thousands of dollars in damages for making that choice. This happens in a lot of other ways. Here in the state of Indiana, for example, the Attorney General of our state over the past several years, as a foreclosure crisis has raged around us, has pursued people coming into the state acting as if they are attorneys or have the capability of attorneys to help their clients and people they work with avoid mortgage foreclosure. But they have no ability to enter an appearance in a courtroom, to file proper legal documents, or to act on the client's behalf in a court of law. Instead, what happens is they end up putting them in a situation where they may, because they think they've saved several hundreds or thousands of dollars by not using an attorney, suddenly they're facing a sheriff's sale to be evicted from their home when they could have worked something out potentially with the bank. There are no guarantees when you're in that situation at all, but the attorney is always going to have the ability to go before the court, to negotiate with the other attorney, with opposing counsel, to be present for a settlement conference, to ask for mediation, to use a host of tools that are available at his or her disposal because that attorney is a member of the state bar. Another valuable situation to consider the difference between online forms and using an attorney is when you're doing a will, a living trust, or any of the estate planning documents that will govern your declarations for a situation where you become incapacitated or upon death. The cost of using an attorney for a will and a trust is usually not that substantial. It's probably a very wise choice at that time to hire an attorney to help you through the process rather than to do it yourself. If we can help you with your legal needs, please contact our office, the Thompson Law Office, at 317-564-4976, or find us on the web at www.businesslawindiana.com.